politics.
And we're out of time.
Ain't y'all gravity, ain't day above ground, live it. Hope everyone's doing well today. It is raining like a sumbitch outside, which means it's gonna be an easy day for me at work. Let's go. But anyway, shout out to brother Torian Rain for running up the numbers, and shout out to y'all for running up the numbers. The brother doing over 30,000 on his Vivek live stream. So shout out to you, sir. I might be pulling a grift today. I might be pulling a grift today because I woke up this morning and confirmed Thursday. Hope you guys are here because we are going to talk to Miss Donnie the Misfit and Jeff Charles about the Dexter Taylor situation. So we will have some libertarians on the platform. So we're going to go over their platform and also talk about the Dexter Taylor case and stuff going on in America. But we have to talk about this family because as you see on the screen, Vivek, ever since Miss Ann told him about himself, now he running around trying to make sure that everybody understands that that was an anomaly. That's not what he is. That's not who he is. He tried that with Steven Crowder, didn't work. Now he went west. Vivek, aka 50, went west and went to Valutainment. Boy, he says something in here that we should be. I'll say it like this. Vivek, thank you. Thank you. Because you're going to say something in here that's definitely going to put us on alert. But before we start that, let's see who's in the building. Jerry Bedford, good morning. Cosmo Fury, good morning. Reparations Nation, good morning. Carol Clark, good morning. Miss Nisi, good morning. SoFlo, good morning. And for those who haven't said anything in the live chat or the comments, good morning. Let's just get into this. And by the way, I'm not giving Valutainment any views. We downloaded and we sped it up. So I'm giving you fair warning. But let's begin.
You know, let me go here. There's a growing concern in
to go live here with the one and only Vivek while I'm taking a picture with him, by the way. We got a lot to cover. I don't know how many times we've done this, 3, 4, 5 times, but every time we talk to Vivek, the conversation's always lively. We talk about a bunch of different issues. Let me kind of give you some things we want to talk about today. One is, a exchange that he had with a recent podcast that he is too brown to become a president. We got to get a reaction on that, which we will. And then the other part is the position, job. Is he going to be getting the Homeland Security job? That freaked a lot of people out. Is he going to get the Secretary of Commerce? Is it VP? Is it AG? Is it nothing? What is the conversation going to be about? We'll talk about that.
Now, listen, if he gets Homeland Security, we fucked. I'm just going to warn y'all now. If he gets the Homeland Security job, we are fucked. Because he's going to be in charge of the border. We're fucked. He's already told us he's for Pacific migration. We're fucked. especially after what Miss Ann said to this man. He's going to flood us with South Asians. I promise you. But all right.
Trial in New York, Jersey, what Trump did. Jerry Seinfeld, who's a speaker at Duke, graduation, and all of a sudden a bunch of people walk out. You got to see this. Aside from that, there's the Michael Cohen thing going on right now with Stormy Daniel. And Michael Cohen, I think, may have wanted to get sponsored by Nike when you hear what he talked about based on a quote that Trump told him back in the days. Scaramucci said some stuff about Trump, saying he's a very, very dangerous man and should be nowhere near the White House. Queers for Palestine, pro-Palestine protesters stop traffic at Walt Disney World in Florida. You'll see what that's all about. And then we got a couple other stories here. Let me still continue with this. North Dakota governor, former presidential candidate Doug Burgum, front and center at Jersey rally with Trump. What's he doing there? That's a whole conversation that's being brought up lately. RFK says he will qualify for presidential debates as he issues challenge to Trump. Cohen testifies, and you'll see what he'll say here. Pelosi rebuked to her face during Oxford debate about 2016 election. Very weird what she said. And then what the student and the person that was, rebuking her, you just have to see what happens in this situation. Very interesting. And then a couple other things. Trump just recently said, I support Israel's right to win its war on terror. Then CNN Zakaria, which is, by the way, he has an owner, and the owner is on our panel here because without him, nobody would. I mean, without Adam, Vinny, nobody would have ever known about Zakaria without Adam because it's
Never.
all. Yeah. So CNN Zakaria, Biden should go back to Trump's immigration policies. Then numbers just showed up, a record-breaking number for the number of people with full-time jobs and part-time jobs. Wait till you see this. A couple things here in the economy we'll talk about. There's a stat that just came out from Wall Street Journal. I want to get Vivek's take on this. Suddenly, there aren't enough babies. The whole world is alarmed with not enough babies being born. Christy, no. There's a restraining order on her and all the dogs in South Dakota, which is kind of deeply concerning. We're going to see. We're going to see what our friend here has to say. And then last but not least, I thought this was kind of interesting story by Forbes. I don't know who wrote it. I'm just curious with this title. Discrimination may cause people to age faster and affect white people most. Who the hell would write
No wonder why
this is a
got...
Forbes article, guys, that we're talking about. Forbes article. So
now, hey, PBD, did he lie about that? Or did she lie about that? Discrimination does age people. Isn't that funny? For all the stuff I say about quiet on the set, I still look like I'm in my 20s. Yet your conservatives and Conservative Inc. have been saying that, and they got gray hairs and they're in their 30s. I'm not saying I don't have grays, but goddamn, I could go out on the street next to him and I'd look incredible. Interesting. Oh, I know black don't crack. I'm talking about them black conservatives because their shits is shattering right now. They look stressed. Understand this, family. I not only do this and go down rabbit holes that will stress y'all the fuck out, but I go to work and get stressed the fuck out. And I got a 4-year-old who is precocious. And I got a wife. I love her to death. But y'all women know how sometimes y'all are. Y'all know that. Now, thankfully, the old lady don't give me that much stress. I stress her more. But both of us look incredible. I don't sit in the house all day. Most of these black conservatives sit in the house all day and just go in on black people, go in on the black community. And they look like, boy, if you saw them outside, they look like they're just glad to breathe air that's not recycled in their own home. And I shaved too yesterday. If it was sundress weather today, boy, my wife she'd be beating chicks up all over the street. But anyway, let's continue.
to start off with this.
Can I say one word on that?
Yeah.
Do you think if the article's findings were that discrimination would cause people to age slower, would they have published it? I don't think so.
No, this is a great opportunity for them to write something.
Vivek, you're 39 and you look like you in your 50s. Cut it out, sir. Take off the makeup and let's see what you're really working with.
like that. Rob, can you pull this up? So Ann Coulter, who we've had on the podcast before.
I'm
Ann
sure you
Coulter,
did.
I think you and her are, on a show together. You're doing
Black
something
Women's
together. And she
Day,
asked
yeah.
this question. I just want to get your reaction on. Rob, go ahead and play this clip.
That's why I brought on today somebody who I think has some thoughtful
Vincent
perspective
Taylor,
on the
hello.
direction of our country, of our conservative movement, and on this question, of
Our
nationalism,
conservative-
national identity. Somebody who's been fascinated for a
Can
long
you
time.
fast forward to when
and
she
has
says it,
interacted
Rob?
with on social media for the first time I've been live before time.
He just wants to get to the good stuff. He didn't care what Vivek said. He said, just fast forward to the part where she said it.
Conversation in the offline sense of it. It's Ann Coulter. So, Ann, thanks for coming on, and I'm looking forward to our conversation today.
Here you go.
Me too. Thanks for having me. That was a fantastic opening monologue. I too am a fan of yours. I'm going to make a point of disagreeing with you so that it will be fun. You are so
And she did that
bright
all
and
day.
articulate, and I guess I can call you articulate since you're not an American black.
There we go.
Can't say that about them. That's derogatory. And that was a great opening segment. Lots of things to talk about there. Oh, and I agreed with many, many things you said during, in fact, probably more than most other candidates when you were running for president. But I still would not have voted for you. Because you're an Indian. We'll get back to that.
Just skip
They
over
laughed.
this.
That wasn't me, family. Wait a minute. That was not me. That was not me. They laughed. I laughed, but they laughed first. Oh boy. Shebrew Copper, hello. Bash M, hello. You seem new, but welcome.
You know she was, because it seems like when you guys are starting, there's a little bit of tension. I don't know if there was like pre-getting started where there was tension or
Oh,
not.
you're pretty good at picking that up, man. So to give you the context here. So I ran this podcast during the presidential campaign. It was called Truth.
Yeah.
I took some
Truth, lies. Anyway, this is not my audio. This is their audio. So if you hear it going low, that's not me. That's them.
time off after the campaign, and now, getting back in the swing of things. So we relaunched the Truth podcast, just relaunched it officially last week. So, get that up on the ground.
Last week.
Right. And I wanted to pick on some people who had poked me a little bit on social media or in other ways to be able to, it's kind of boring to just talk about everybody who agrees with the same thing.
Right.
But let's get a little bit of tension from the left, from the right. So I'll bring Ann Coulter on because during
You see what he said? He wants attention from the left and the right. Hey, ramen noodles. I'm in the middle. I give everybody the smoke. Come here.
You bring him here. Right here. Do you hear me? Right here.
What?
You heard what I said. Just do it.
Come here. Come see me. You'll as soon, I swear to God, after you're done talking to me, you're getting out of politics. You're going right back to being a farmer, bro. I promise you.
the campaign, I don't remember what exactly she said, but on numerous instances would comment on different ways in which I might not be quite qualified to be president, right? So let's get her on and have a conversation. And both of us are interested in the theme of nationalism. I did not expect she would just kick it off right there, get right into the business. And I think it actually made for a really good conversation, believe it or not. Of course, I disagree with hell like her on that being the criteria to be the U.S. president is.
She didn't call me a
description of
slur,
whether or
so
not
it was
you're
a
an
good
Indian and born
conversation.
in the United States, I'm as American as they come. But I
I'm
thought it actually
American.
formed a really strong basis for an honest conversation.
He said, I'm as American as they come. What? Hey, I should almost put a poll up and see if y'all agree with that statement. That's what we're finna do right now. We're gonna do that right now. Family, give me like 10 seconds. I'm gonna let it play. I'm gonna put up a poll. I want you to answer that question. Is Vivek Ramaswamy as American as you?
Otherwise don't have. Because her view is that in order to actually be a U.S. president, you got to be even more American, right? So you're not fully American if your parents weren't from the United States of America. And in order to trust somebody, the more generations they've been here, let's say you've been here 6 or 7 generations, you have more of what she would call, I think she did call it in the podcast, a security policy. It's like an insurance policy that you know that if you're going to put somebody in that high office, at least you know that they've really, really soaked up what it means to be American. Now, I disagree with that. I disagree with that because you have people in the 7th generation Americans who are the kids of some, I know many of these people, grow up in the Upper East Side, some daughter who lives in Brooklyn thinks she's a hippie, talks about hating this country. Well, I don't think that person's any more American than I am just because my parents happen to have been legal immigrants to this country.
I got 2 questions for
But it
you.
made for good
Ooh,
conversation.
he
I got 2 questions for you
lied.
with this, okay?
Ooh,
On one hand,
he
how many
lied.
people you think are like, if you were to say of the voters bloc,
Sir.
what percent
Sir.
sudden a bunch of people
Man.
walk out was,
Sir, how you tell that lie? Your father's still not a citizen. It's only your mama and your brother and you. Why you keep telling people this lie like we can't go look that up? Come on.
It is a lot higher than I believed it was a year ago.
I don't understand how he lies like this. Like he can't be fact checked in real time. All right.
States of America. And in order to trust somebody, the more generations they've been here, let's say you've been here 6 or 7 generations, you have more of what she would call, I think she did call it in the podcast, a security policy. It's like an insurance policy that you know that if you're going to put somebody in that high office, at least you know that they've really, really soaked up what it means to be American. Now, I disagree with that. I disagree with that because you have people in the 7th generation Americans who are the kids of some, I know many of these people, grow up in the Upper East Side, some daughter who lives in Brooklyn thinks she's a hippie, talks about hating this country. Well, I don't think that person's any more American than I am just because my parents happen to have been legal immigrants to this country.
I got 2 questions for you.
But it made for a good conversation.
I got 2 questions for you with this, okay? On one end, how many people you think are like, if you were to say, of the voters block, what percentage of the voter block agrees with her?
So say in the Republican primary,
in the Republican primary to say, you know what, I'm not going to, even if it's 1%, 2%, 3%, what do you think it is?
So I will tell you this with confidence. It is a lot higher than I believed it was a year ago.
Interesting.
Yeah. It's a lot higher than I believe you would think it is, too.
Interesting.
Which is why, and I said this on social media, people hit me on the left from it. I said I respect her for saying it, even though I disagree.
Right.
Because at least she has the spine to say in public what many other people, not a majority, not even close to a majority, but a lot of people. She's not alone. She is voicing a view that I think is widespread. And actually, what the hell? We're here. We're just gonna let loose a little bit. I had somebody text me who had run for position. You guys might know her, Harmeet Dillon. You know Harmeet Dillon?
Of course, yeah, absolutely.
Harmeet's super cool, so I hope she's fine with me saying this because I think it's important that the public know. We can't just have these conversations behind closed doors, not having them in the open. So that when she ran for her position of being the chairwoman of the RNC, she had many people tell her the same thing too, which is interesting to me because most of the grassroots was, a lot of the grassroots were with me, a lot of grassroots were with people like me, but there are people who believe that if you're
don't tell that lie. Most of the grassroots were with you. How do you tell that lie, sir? What grassroots? Tell us these grassroots organizations that were with you. Because I know the black grassroots were not with you. We spent the majority of 2 years putting the knee on your neck, not to use that phrase. And Coulter just told you the blue-eyed white bitches don't fuck with you. She just told you that. Steven Crowder, who you went to go see, he just told you the dying out white male, they don't fuck with you. You've been getting railroaded by your own people on the AAPI side, the South Asian version. Oh, I get it. You're going to tell us that the people that have been standing with you are those quote unquote disagreement individuals that catch you outside and then you have a conversation and then you turn them into a supporter, right? Them, right? Okay. More people walked in. Ronnie B, hello. Sardonic Hawk, hello. It wasn't a private conversation. She said this out in the open. It's not exactly private. Most of what she told them, everybody already knew, but I feel you on that. And Neon Black, hello.
electing people to positions of leadership, how American you are is a spectrum.
When you were out there campaigning, did anybody face you, confront you, and say, I would totally support you, but you're too brown for me? Did anyone say
So
it?
I had many of those for religion. So I didn't have anybody come up and say that because of, well, there were people on social media who would make an argument. It wasn't on ethnicity. And this is part of Ann's point, too. It's the point that your parents were immigrants to this country. And so you are truly not at the highest level of being American to be president of the United States.
Right.
So we had a number of people that would say that occasionally. A much more common one, though, for people to my face was, I would love to vote for you. It's difficult for me to vote for somebody else because I agree with you more, but I can't do that because you are Hindu. That.
Yes. Barack Obama fucked the game up for you.
came up a lot, especially in Iowa.
Even the town hall when we did, somebody asked you, one of the ladies got
I
up.
remember that. I
Yeah,
remember
they
that
asked
too.
you the
Yep.
question. I thought your answer was fantastic.
But I remember her. I was standing on stage. She was standing right there, very thoughtful.
Yes.
I don't think she was in the category of saying I can't vote.
No, she didn't say
She
that.
asked a very legitimate question.
She did.
She said, tell me about your faith.
That's right.
Because if you're running for president, I got to know who you are.
Right.
And if your faith is important to you,
Yeah.
then in order to know who you are, I got to know your faith. That's different from, I'm telling you though, I will face people in Iowa. There's a pastor in Iowa who wrote an extensive Facebook post. I spent 2 hours with him on the back of a bus talking it through, and he still came out on the other side. He said, if it is God's will for you to be the U.S. president, I will accept it.
Respect.
But I can't vote for you
Jesus
myself because
Christ.
I can't vote for somebody who doesn't share my
Let me stay on this here. So, first of all, if strategically, I don't know if Ann Coulter wants to sell you some product that Sammy Sosa used. I don't know if you're familiar with Sammy Sosa. Sammy Sosa.
He whitened his skin. Yeah, the skin whitener.
Sammy Sosa.
I didn't know that.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my God.
If you're interested,
No,
we
this
can
is
make
real. This is
some-
real.
Are you serious? Now y'all talking about skin bleaching. Bruh, you can't make this up. Y'all can't make this up. He said it. They're talking about skin bleaching now. Huh? Oh, Lord. Okay. Miss Nixie, thank you for being a member for 7 months. Again, it's 99 cents, helps me reinvest back in the platform and buy toys and clothes for the baby. And when you do become a member, or you let us know how long you've been a member, or you give a super chat or a super sticker, it's a beautiful thing. But also you get this. We continue because now they're talking about skin bleaching. All right.
sell you some product that Sammy Sosa used. I don't know if you're familiar with Sammy Sosa. Sammy Sosa.
He whitened his skin. Yeah, the skin whitener.
Sammy Sosa.
I didn't know that.
He
He
used what Michael
None
Jackson
of the
did.
units.
interested.
No,
we
this
can
is
make
real. This is a
some-
real
it's
story. This is not made up.
He got his skin to be lighter, so you can
Bro,
go a couple
100,
shades.
it's like-
Rob, I don't know why you're laughing. I'm trying to make a solution here to make Ann happy.
I'm not going to be a customer. I'm sorry, but
He was Sammy Sosa there. Now he's
by the way, this guy
Sammy
hit 66 home runs. He saved MLB in 1998. Let me go back to the question here. What this
He
one is.
saved
Okay,
MLB?
What do you think's more extreme?
He saved MLB. Sammy Sosa saved the MLB, not Mark McGuire, right? Not Ken Griffey. It was Sammy Sosa, right? All right. I didn't know this. They're telling us something we didn't know. They're showing us how American they are. Let's help you, Patrick Bet. As much as Sammy Sosa was hitting, what was the story? Mark McGuire. He was the quickest one to break the record. He was the one getting all the attention. Okay. You got it.
What do you think is more extreme? Tell me how your argument is on the other side. So one side, you know what? I don't think America, because, you know, back in the days, what was JFK was, Tom, you said Roman Catholic? It was a Roman Catholic where
Yeah,
America
those
was
were the headlines when
Yeah.
Nixon was running.
Roman
It's a Roman
Catholic.
Catholic.
we're not ready for a Roman Catholic president. Okay, and then America said, nah, we're okay with it, right?
actually cool with that, yeah.
Okay, we're actually cool with that. Do you think, give me which of these are more extreme. So do you think Ann Coulter's position of saying, no, not only do I want you to be a natural born citizen, but I also want you to be white, to be a true nationalist, to be a president here. How about the opposite side? What about somebody that wasn't born here but has lived here for 35 years?
Yeah.
Should this person have the right to run for office one day in America? If they've paid their taxes, they've paid their dues, they've lived in America for 35 years, should they have the chance to run for office?
should they have the chance to run for U.S. president?
President.
No. You want to know why? Because
Why?
the Constitution says so. So if you want to change the Constitution. And would you have 2/3 of this country and 2/3 of the state ratify that? That's a separate conversation.
right.
But what the Constitution says now is you have to be a natural born citizen.
Sure.
And a natural born citizen, as it's ever been read by courts, as it's ever been read through American history for the last century and a half, is you're born in the United States of America. And so I think the Constitution
Yeah.
is a beautiful thing. We don't have to relitigate these questions every generation. Go with what the Constitution actually
And
says.
if Ann Coulter's watching, maybe Ann Coulter wants to amend the Constitution and say naturally born white citizen, right?
Yeah. See,
With a skin tone that is, you know, maybe put tears in the skin tone to please Ann Coulter. What do you think? I'm just trying to get some creative ideas here.
I mean, Biden's father are all born in America. I would much rather vote for somebody like this than somebody that's family's been here and ain't doing shit.
Well, my opinion is this when it comes down to Vivek, and I told you this last week. I think you know how we were going to the GOP debate? We went to all the debates and we'd watch Vivek and we're like, dude, this guy should crush it tomorrow on the, you know, what do you call it? The polls, right? And you'd go, you're like 6.5%, 7.5%. Like, how this guy's not jumping up to 22%, 18%? And you realize because there's a guy in the way of that. Not in the way. He is what majority of Republicans want to run at this year, 2024, and his name is Donald J. Trump. By the way, rightly so. He's earned the right to be the lead dog of 2024. There's no question about it. There's a lot of people that want him to go back and do that. Oh, what I'm very curious about, very with Trump, what's he doing there? That's a whole conversation
That if you're electing people to positions of leadership,
do you think, give me which of these are more extreme. So do you think Ann Coulter's position of saying, no, not only do I want you to be a natural-born citizen, but I also want you to be white, to be a true nationalist, to be a president here. How about the opposite side? What about somebody that wasn't born here but has lived here for 35 years?
Yeah.
Should this person have the right to run for office one day in America if they paid their taxes, they paid their dues, at this year, 2024, and his name is Donald J. Trump. By the way, rightly so. He's earned the right to be the lead dog of 2024. There's no question about it. There's a lot of people that want him to go back and do that. What I'm very curious about, and by the way, I want to ask the audience this question, Rob, if you want to run a poll for this, is, in my opinion, you know how in NBA or college basketball, a guy skips, like the other day we were with that basketball player that was at the Derby with us, a tall guy, the center for Kansas. And I think he left the team to go to Kansas, tall guy, good-looking guy, and we're having a conversation with him. And so I think this guy's going to be the #1 draft pick of next year, Hunter Dickinson. Yeah, shout out to him, really nice guy, 7'2". But so, to me, in my opinion, of 2028 presidential candidate, #1 draft pick, 2028 is Vivek Ramaswamy.
I agree 100%.
I'm convinced it's #1. And in a most curious way of just trying to do case studies, I am so curious to know where, let's just say whether Trump wins or loses. Likely to him running in 2028, I don't think he's going to run in 2028. He wins. Okay, he even thinks in Jersey, he said, I think we can win all 50 states is what he said. I don't know if you heard his speech. Say he wins. 2028, where's MAGA going to want to go today?
Hey, conservatives, Republicans, the last time y'all said y'all had a landslide in the bag, what happened? People barely came outside. It's only May, mid-May. Them cocksuckers on the other side, they ain't even start with Trump yet. They still got about 3 bullets they haven't shot at that man yet. And one of them is the coffee venereal disease. Y'all better stop and realize he's the most vulnerable he's ever been. And you cowards won't go outside. Y'all waiting for him to move. But all right, you got it.
Can fill that void. I don't know. I think it's going to be. What do you think about that? The fact that a lot of that audience,
I will say this is, I understand why the Republican base went for Donald Trump so handily this time around, because it makes all the sense in the world, right? It's not just about policy vision. It's that this guy's actually done it, right? So he's tried and true. And I hadn't done it, right? I'm 38 years old. I'm an entrepreneur. I live the American dream. I have a vision that very closely aligns with Donald Trump's America First vision. There's some small differences here and there.
Closely aligns, yeah.
But this is a guy who rarely in American history to get this opportunity. It's a once-in-a-century opportunity, actually. The once-in-a-century opportunity in this election is usually you get to measure an incumbent versus somebody who's challenging him, who says, hey, I'm going to do all of these things that I've never done. Last time you got it with Grover Cleveland. This time you have it this time around, where you get to say, hey, I've got 4 years of Trump, of action, not words, 4 years of action, and then 4 years of action with Biden. Compare and make your choice. So I think the Republican primary base, in retrospect, it was never going to be anyone other than Donald Trump, because that is a rare and unique opportunity to vote for actual action. Now, MAGA and America First does not end with Donald Trump. In some ways, it didn't begin with Donald Trump. It began in 1776, but Donald Trump revived it. But the question is, who's going to carry that forward? And it's not just going to be the president. It's going to be people all the way from school board to governor to state legislator to city councilman, but also to U.S. president as well. And so I'll tell you this, I'm not one of these guys who makes elaborate plans to say, okay, well, if this happens, then I'm going to do that. And if that doesn't happen, I'm going to do the next thing, because it never goes according to plan anyway. But I'm not going anywhere is what I'll tell you. Is we're going to stay with this fight for the country, and wherever it leads, I'm going to do it.
I have a technical question for you.
So he's a perpetual loser. But even in this climate of loss and people not caring about him and going in his face, talking about you're not the person we expect to be our president to talk for us in those rooms with other world leaders, he still found the time to speak French.
Who is we? Who is we?
I'll stop to ask the question because Adam's got a question. But this technical question is a very heavy question. Go ahead.
Well,
Adam, go ahead.
I will say what I think, but I also give a more of a macro opinion. I agree with Pat that you should be the leading candidate in 2028. You have style, you have substance, you have policy, you have personality. You got pizzazz, and you also know your stuff. I've said openly and loudly, Vivek is literally the smartest guy I've ever sat down with. I've also said the following. there's no chance that the Republican base is voting for a brown guy. I've said it on this podcast multiple times.
Damn.
Hear me out.
Go
Because
ahead.
Ann Coulter said out loud what many people are thinking, and you said yourself,
Including
this is my
you.
question. Oh, I didn't realize that the base actually wasn't ready for all this. Now, you're born in America. You're from Ohio. I want to say more presidents have come out of Ohio than any state in the union, right?
It's up there, seven or so. Yep.
Okay. So as far as I go, I would vote for you in a heartbeat.
Thank you.
If you were a Democrat,
would.
if you were a woke, progressive DEI guy checking all those boxes,
DEI.
bing, 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 you'd be the next Obama, no doubt. You know, you've been said
he's
before, skinny
Obama.
kid with a weird last name.
Riffing around with that thing.
But it was great.
But with a
But you are
conservative-
a candidate on the left. On the right, there is a challenge there, and I'm not saying that you're going to go left here. What did you learn that you admittedly said, I had no idea that this was going to be more of a challenge than I thought?
Well, look, I think a couple things. First of all, to be clear, to state the obvious, I think the reason I did not win the Republican presidential nomination has nothing to do with my skin color. It has to do
You
with.
think so?
It has to do with
There's a part of
the
it
reason I
that's-
didn't win it.
I
the
think
reason
that
I
it
didn't
has
win
to do with Trump 1,000,000%.
Yeah, exactly. You have
but
somebody
part
who
B
has
to
been,
that
you have somebody who's
is
tried
this
and
guy.
true.
Yes.
But then you look at a lot of the data of the people who were loving me at this. I thought my support in Iowa on the ground. I mean, the people were drawn. The energy level was so high.
Well, you heard that part, family. That's the part I alluded to before I started this playback. Yeah, he's talking about he gonna run in 28. Okay, cool. Hey, Vivek, it's May 14th, 2024, 9:36 a.m. I got a message for you. If I see you running through that primary again, yeah, there you go. And I promise the family will do it too. Vote the couch 2028. I promise you. You're going to have a worse time than Trump's about to have. I promise you. You think it's a joke out here. It's not a joke. But all right. Continue.
Compared to you see a lot of the other candidates campaigning in Iowa, very dull. Yet many of those people with a lot of energy coming to my stuff went in there and voted for Donald Trump. They love me and what I had to say.
They
but
love
they
me.
love Donald Trump as the next U.S. president more. And I
Number
get
one
that.
draft pick.
And I get that. So that's I think where it comes from. Now, did I learn something? I think I did underestimate the trust factor overall. See, so I put all of these into a broader category of building trust. You're somebody new, somebody who's young, somebody who, yes, is a little different in a number of ways. You could put ethnic lineage,
Somebody
religion in
new.
that
You hear
category.
this. Somebody
You got a guy
new.
who, isn't known to most of the American public. Yes, I mean, different people have different gifts, and I'm bad at a lot of things. But one of the things is I do like to explain my views in detail. And sometimes people like that, but sometimes people find that skeptical too. They're skeptical of somebody who's going to explain something in the way that I do. Is he just selling me on something that he doesn't really believe in? So all of that, I think, came together to say that they got to know me this time around. Many of our supporters, once they became staunch supporters, didn't go back. I mean, these are people who, even to this day, are running through walls to try to advance my vision for this country. But I think unambiguously the reason why I wasn't the nominee this time is because there was a guy who was proven, who had done it, who I am supporting fully, by the way, and who I hope is the next president. And I think
So why did you run? Why did you take $10 million of your own money, allegedly, and run if you knew the end outcome was going to be Trump? Why did you run? You could have saved that $10 million and given it to your progeny. You could have used that $10 million. You could have done a lot of things with $10 million. You could have donated it to MAGA. You could have been a mega donor. Dare I say, you could have used the $10 million and ran for a congressional seat, get the experience, because you probably would have been sitting in that position for 2 years now if you'd have ran in 2022. And you would have gotten the experience on how Washington works. And then if you want to run in 28, you can do that. But you didn't want to do that. You wanted to go for the highest seat in the land, allegedly. Because you wanted people to like you. Because you getting that nomination and then somehow beating Biden, you would have tried to say the U.S. voted for an immigrant. They must really love us. He could have. I would send it back. And I know y'all are telling me I'm crazy. I understand. I get it. I know right now you're saying this.
Bro, what you on?
Somebody that's never been here before heard me say that and was like this.
What the hell?
What the hell? What the?
And the rest of them are like this.
Move this man!
I get it. I don't want that man's money. Because I know what comes with it. Plus, YouTube only allows you to give max $1,000. So it probably wouldn't work. But anyway, let's continue.
That's actually the most important takeaway. And so I'm not of the view that somebody can't win a Republican or a Democratic nomination for that matter based on their skin color. If the white guy can win the Democratic nomination for a race-obsessed left, certainly a non-white guy can win the Republican nomination for a party that
I mean, it's fair to say, and I agree with Pat, like number one candidate, 2028. Is it fair to say, I know you don't want to probably look ahead too far, when do you make a decision like 2028, Vivek's running it back?
I'll tell you, here's what I will say is, I hope that I'm not in the position to have to run for president, consider running for president for this country. If we're in good shape as a country, that's not a job I need to do. I really don't. I enjoy
hear him.
Think about the kind of stuff I've taken up till after the campaign, re-engaging the creative.
You hear him. This is a game to this man. This is a game. He got 2 young sons he need to go raise. This is a game to him. So he's not even serious about helping people in this country. Come here, man. Please, Most High, please let me end this man's career. Please. Please.
Side of my brain, taking on a lot of projects in the private sector. I'm an entrepreneur at heart. I'm a father of 2 sons. I enjoy nothing more in this world than raising those 2 boys. If this
you want to be
I don't believe
president.
this country requires somebody to step up and actually make that sacrifice, if we're back to normal times, hell no, I'm not running for president. But the only reason I would do it is if I believe this country actually required it. So I'm hoping, this as one man, I'm hoping that we're not there. And if we are there, that means there's a job that needs to be done because I'm doing it as a father, right? I want my kids to grow up.
You can't go run for a congressional seat, which you're going to have more power and more
responsibility. I hope that's not the position we're going to be in 2028. After 4 successful years of Trump's presidency, I hope that this is a job that somebody else can do to carry forward. But if it's required, that means it's going to be urgent.
Vivek, you need to tell me the $400,000 a year salary doesn't.
He think he Batman. I hate him. Oh, I hate him so much.
Well, now you didn't mention that part. Now I got to rethink that. I got to rethink this, buddy.
Last question with that follow-up.
The amenities in that White
Let's
House.
say hypothetically, Trump does lose. Hypothetically, does that mean all but certain you're gonna throw your candidate?
Look, I think if Trump loses, this country's in deep trouble.
Right.
And my work for this country, all of our work for this country, can't wait for even 4 years.
You hear the
That's gotta start
cowardice.
immediately. And so that's the way I'm approaching it even right now. I think we're skating on thin ice as a country. Every one of us has to look ourselves in the eye and say, how are we going to make a difference?
Cowards! All of them!
With I'm approaching this year, I think politics is not the only way to change in the country. People forget that. A lot of this is going to happen through the private sector, through our educational system. I've lived the American dream, be smarter through philanthropy even. I think there are a lot of different ways that we must be required to drive that change in the country. And so, as I said, the only chance I would run for president in the future is if I felt like the future of the country depended on someone like me stepping up to do it. And let's hope we're not there.
So
You're a coward.
Current jobs. Let's just say the president calls you, former president who's running right now. Trump calls you, he wins. Vivek, I want you to be the VP. I want you to be, after he wins DAG, I want you to be Secretary of Commerce. I want you to be, is there any job you would say no to if he called you to say, I want you to help me with XYZ job?
Well, look, I think it would be work more like a conversation, right? In terms of where am
This is the same son of a bitch who told everybody he's not interested in the VP. Now it's a conversation. You see, man. I would at least have thought with just this one little point, he would have had some integrity and say, nah, I can't do that. I said that I wanted to be president and didn't work out. Okay, it's not my time. Let's move on to the next question. Now he wants to have a conversation. Jared, hello. Cornelius Jones, hello. Dwayne, hello. Michael R, hello. AJ Moore, hello. Michael R, you out of line?
I going to have maximal impact? And if he proposed a job where I thought I wasn't going to be effective, I thought I wasn't going to make best use of my skill set, I've got a relationship with Donald Trump who I respect immensely, where we're going to have a conversation about that and actually set up for maximal impact for the country. If he knows who I am, and we've got to know each other really well, if after knowing all of that, he would ask me to be vice president, or, you brought up that example, let's just answer really honestly. Anybody who cares about this country, who's aligned with his vision in the Republican Party today, if they're asked to be vice president, is going to say yes and has a responsibility to say yes. And so I think that goes without saying.
You can say no.
Going through the other positions, I think we know each other well enough that I'm not going to get some suggestion that wouldn't match up with my skills or my interest. But I do think that one of the things I'm going to be looking at is how do I maximize impact for the country? Every one of us has our own unique God-given gifts. We got
now you know Trump.
6 of us, including our
Rob.
What's it? Rob. All right, 6 of us in this room.
Blowing up on my neck, Rob.
Every one of us has different skills. And by the way, he has different skills than I do. God knows I couldn't be doing what he's doing. I'll tell you that for sure. Every one of us has our own unique God-given gifts. And we got to look ourselves in the mirror and ask ourselves, how are we going to use those gifts to do what is right for this country in the short time that we're given? And so I'm going to do that. Think about things that I talked about during the campaign that were very important to me. I think fixing this issue of illegal immigration and border security in this country, fundamental. Draining the swamp. Actually, let's get the mass deportation number 1 of 1 million illegals who have already been given their final orders of removal and millions more who are in this country illegally. That's the first mass deportation. But the second mass deportation I care about is the mass deportation of 3 million federal bureaucrats out of Washington, D.C. So I think those are both pretty important areas that the next administration and the next president can score some pretty quick wins on. Actually draining the swamp, actually gutting the bureaucracy, and actually fixing this border crisis and the illegal immigration problem. Those are things I've been focused on over the last year.
So there's no job he calls you and you're going to say no to?
Well, I think there's probably, if he called me with the job that I didn't think I was well suited to help this country through, I would tell him that. And I think that we would have a conversation moving in a different direction.
Okay, so let me ask you another question. Have you ever technically killed a dog?
Not only
and right about it's important. I mean, people nowadays, I never thought people asked this question. But it's a qualifier.
I have not.
There was a joke there. There was a joke there. And real history. There's a joke there and there's real history there. I don't want to say it. I don't want to say it. I don't want to say it. You're going to force me to say it. Fuck it. It's raining. I'm going to say it. There you go. Sir, your homeland still eats dogs. Let's just... Bro. I'm just saying. Sir, your homeland still eats dogs. The homeland you're claiming eats dogs. Stop it. Stop it. You motherfuckers have a weird obsession with dogs. And by the way, for all you trolls that are about to tell us there's black countries in there, that ain't us. We ain't eating no dog. Motherfucker black person right now eat a possum before they eat a dog. Travis Ware, you out of line. We wouldn't even eat a puppy that was on fire if we were hungry. We wouldn't even do it. Shibu Copper, you need to go be put in timeout. What is this you're talking about? Do not do that. Okay, now y'all getting out of line. Hold on to stop.
Life has definitely been lifing. I'm going to keep you guys updated with...
Hopefully she stopped y'all from talking about what they do with dogs. I don't want to hear none of that. That's disgusting.
Dude, that's some...
You're done. You're done.
You see, see, there he go. There y'all go. See?
You're going it's coming from
All of y'all stop it. Or I end the show. I end this broadcast. Y'all stop it. Thank you. I mean, I don't want to sound like I'm disciplining. No more dog talk. Even though I started it. Anyway, let's get back to this.
Even non-technically.
Okay, I just want to.
I'm a vegetarian, man.
I know that.
You're a vegetarian.
Let me
you lie.
Let me stay on this here. So here's
It's a
another question for you.
vegetarian.
So we had a guy in Dallas, billionaire, and one of his former CFOs ends up working for us. And this guy's like, everybody that was ever his CFO, they always got fired. He says, but I knew when to quit before he fired me because I didn't want to be part of the list of getting fired, right? And I always been like, what a way of processing the issue. Quit before you get fired. When you think about guys that went and worked for him, that accepted a job, how do you feel about the fact that, say he gives you a job, and then a month, 3 months, 6 months, 9 months later, he fires you? How do you process that with your chances of 2028? Does that fear at all consume your mind?
No,
okay,
not at all.
Is it because you don't think
I'm
you'll
just
be
not
fired?
wired that way? I mean, Patrick, I gotta tell you something because you're an entrepreneur too. But
sure.
First of all, it's been a long time since I've been in an employment situation. Right. I were it not for serving this country and particularly Donald Trump in the presidency, I couldn't imagine working for somebody, period, again in my life.
Sure.
I told myself I wasn't going to do that.
This would be working for a guy.
But this is working for the country. And it's what Donald Trump is doing. He's working for the country.
Sure.
That's what he's doing too. You know who the ultimate boss is in this job?
Taxpayer.
It's the people.
Right.
Citizens of this country,
Sure.
actually. Taxpayers, but the citizens of the United States of America. That's the ultimate.
You mean the same citizens and the taxpayers who told you they couldn't trust you because you look Muslim and you're dark skinned? They said that to your old lady. So they didn't even respect your old lady.
Boss. So that's who Donald Trump's going into work for. And in serving and helping him do a good job, that's who I'm going to go in and work for if he'd like to have me in that administration and if he's successful in winning this election.
Okay.
So that's the way I think about it. And so, no, I'm not. Maybe I'd be more successful if I were this way, but I'm not wired this way where you make these nested charts and say, okay, well, there's this scenario and that thing could happen. One of the things I've discovered is every time earlier phases of my life tried to do that, it never went according to that plan anyway. Your plans are stupid, actually. You got to have a broad strategy. You got to have a broad purpose. But once you sort of get into the different tactics and try to pretend like you know everything that's going to happen, when in fact you have no idea.
Good
None of us has
God.
any idea what's going to happen. I mean, I don't mean to say this in a morbid way. But we're at greater risk of something terrible happening in this country in the next year, in the next 7 months, than probably we've been in any time in our adult lifetime, probably in our lifetime.
We'll agree with
We've got 10 million people who entered this country illegally. So we're sitting here. I can't be pontificating about, here's the position that I would like versus a different position. And that's the job I'm going to do. It's going to set me up for 2028. I'm worried we're going to have serious bad stuff that goes down in this country of a scale we haven't seen in 20 years. And how are we going to prevent that from happening?
They've warned us every week. Christopher Wray's warning that something's happening. Anthony Blinken.
Yeah.
It's like, guys, get ready. They keep showing all these movies of Leave the World Behind, Civil War. They're prepping us for something big, and they're going to say, we told you
But
so.
what's important about what you just said is the fact that whatever the president chooses to hire you for,
Jesus
when you guys process
Christ,
it
that
together,
man can
your
talk.
game, because it's America first. Whatever America needs me today, I'm willing to do.
It's not me first. It's not Donald Trump first. It's America first.
and
That's why I love about Trump, and I think
Yeah.
I'm going to try to spread that across this country every day.
So while we're on this topic, both of you guys have a reputation. Okay, he has a reputation of firing a lot of people. He had a show called Apprentice that he was firing everybody. In Jersey, he said, I can't wait to go to President. Have you seen this clip, Rob, or no? I can't wait. Type in Trump, Biden, you're fired. Type in Trump, Biden, you're fired, right? And I'm going somewhere with this. If you can find it, I think that's the one right there. Yeah, that's
Told
it.
him that in 2020.
Play
He
this
was
clip.
supposed to get that.
No, I haven't seen
Watch
that.
this. This is good. Go ahead.
I'm sure nobody ever saw The Apprentice. That was a big hit. That's a big hit. That was a big, powerful hit. But I'm going to look at that guy and I'm going to say, Joe Biden, you're the worst ever. Joe Biden, you're fired. Get out of here. You're fired.
So he wants to fire Joe Biden. How does it feel knowing you're the one that fired Ronna McDaniel?
So I'm a big fan of move forward, right? You got a goal. If somebody's in a job they shouldn't be in and it's causing negative results, I believe in accountability. But you know what? I made a promise, which is I got nothing against her personally. Zero. Nothing against her personally.
Vivek.
I just think she was not the right person for the job.
you-
So now that she's out of the way,
That's never happened. Wait a minute.
I got nothing
I
personally.
know you don't.
Okay, that's great. You moved her out the way. And how did the GOP ascend past that? Nobody's talking about the RNC except me. And I'm not a Republican. Who is your deist? Dare I say, the Libertarian Convention has got more press than the goddamn RNC. Oh, family, y'all didn't know this. Kim Klacik actually responded to me on X. because I called her out for being in that calendar instead of campaigning. She didn't like that too tough. The GOP, the same GOP that got rid of their minority outreach program. Yeah. I don't hear any positives coming from y'all camp, but you want to take credit for pulling out the white woman because that's going to endear you to MAGA. Even though they hate Rana, she's still white. Oh, detour. Because I saw somebody put a thing in there. Detour. Okay. Detour. Detour. Torian put the question mark in there. We're going to quickly detour.
You know, let me go here. There's a growing concern.
I saw this yesterday, family. She talking about somehow she outside campaigning. Let's see what she said. Fair use.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Kim Placey here. So tonight is the
No red dress. Okay.
big night before the big day. So we're out here putting up signs at every polling location.
By the way, their primary is today. Maryland's primary is today. Torian, y'all's primary is today. Okay.
In the 2nd Congressional District in the state of Maryland, hoping that you'll get out and vote tomorrow. Polls open at 7 a.m. They close at 8 p.m. And you got to vote Kim Placey. Now, we're going to try to figure out which color signs to use. If you want to comment below and tell us what's your favorite, that's great. I'd love to hear from you.
So you're out here shilling signs when you could have easily put up a same 46-second video of you talking to people in Maryland, telling them what the issues are and how you're going to fight for them in Washington. 45 minutes down the street. Have I got this right? Okay.
But also, after you vote
Or up the
tomorrow,
street,
don't forget,
as the case may
we have a
be.
primary election watch party happening at Riley's Oysters. It kicks off at 7 p.m.
Uh-huh.
Riley's Oysters on Padonia Road. Hopefully we'll be victorious and we'll be celebrating tomorrow night. I want everybody to come out. There's no charge, no RSVP. Just come out, enjoy some good food, good company, and hopefully a good win.
Great. I'm glad you told us that. So I came back on her and I said, because everybody was sitting there kissing her ass. I said, okay, fuck it. I'll say it. Probably should have spent more time campaigning and less time trying to be cute in calendars. So then she said, how do you know what I've been doing? You were in Georgia. She really doesn't know me. Hey, Cannon Hotep, I fuck with you heavy. You should have let her know about me. Okay. You're right. I'm only in Georgia, but I know a lot. So I said, you were in my state on Herschel's bus, right? Your words. He said that to Mark Lamont Hill. After you lost, you ended up on Herschel's bus. Show me your outreach in the 2nd district since February. Show me why you're different than Thurman or Wallace. You're right, ma'am. I don't know. How do I know what you've been doing? I know what these two white men have been doing. Them white men have been outside. They ain't look for the fame. They went to the people. That's why they're the leading in the Republican primary right now. But you're right. I don't know I don't know. You're right. You're right. And then this white woman came in here and said this. Good burn. And why rep GOP who wants scarier pregnancies and government sex slavery to perverts because someone else had an abortion yet another did not like it. Okay, fine. But you're right, Kim. I don't know what I'm talking about, right? I don't know. I don't know. Pick a sign. All signs point to you. There y'all go kiss it. There y'all go. I probably went overboard on the filler. Okay. Here we go. Is this the stripper that was laundering money and other crazy things? I'm confused. She said, if I loaned money as I was accused of, the FEC wouldn't let me run. Put on your thinking cap, your thinking hat, my friend. Okay. Oh boy. New Jersey's gonna flip this cycle. Oh Lord. Okay. Okay. Jersey's gonna flip because you heard Trump say we're gonna flip Jersey. Okay. Okay. Because all signs have pointed to Jersey flipping. Okay. Sure, ma'am. We got it. Back to Vivek.
Please play this.
He went after everybody.
This is the most
epic opening ever.
We're here.
40 years from now, a professor is teaching poli sci in some university. They're going to show this as a case study. Is this the one or is it a shorter one? This is 2 minutes. Can you find? Is it?
I have the shorter one where he just offers the remainder of his time.
That's what I want you to do. Play that one.
We were here.
Right there. Go on and play this clip. Go ahead.
The Republican establishment. Let's speak the truth. I mean, since Ronna McDaniel took over as chairwoman of the RNC in 2017, we have lost 2018, 2020, 2022, no red wave that never came. We got trounced last night in 2023. And I think that we have to have accountability in our party. For that matter, Ron, if you want to come on stage tonight, you want to look the GOP voters in the eye and tell them you resign, I will yield my time to you. And
by the way,
y'all really think that's funny because he did that? Okay.
I mean, you realize you indirectly, you hurt unemployment rate because somebody lost a job that day. That was a publicly to do it the way you did it, Vivek.
So I am unsparing when a job needs to get done and somebody's standing in the way. I will stop at nothing. I'm a dog with a bone until we get the job done. But after that, I'm not looking back at the person we moved out of the way. I'm looking forward.
Moving on.
Yep, exactly. Because we got bigger obstacles along the way. So that's the way I'm wired. But yes, you can count. You have my commitment that whatever I do in the future, I'm not gonna play with.
On this topic, I've asked Kobe this. I've asked Shaq this question. On this topic, you can't vote for yourself, right? When it's like, hey, put a starting five together. Can I include myself? No, you can't count yourself. I don't know if you can answer this question or not. Out of all the people, Rob, can you pull up the Vegas odds that Adam invented? Can you pull that up? The one,
that's it.
The Vegas odds, because this is a qualifier now. Do you know which one I'm talking about? Is this the one, Adam, or there's a bad one? But this is fine.
This is fun.
So you got Tim Scott, Doug Burgum, Tulsi Gabbard, Elisa Stefanik, Rubio, Carson, Vivek, Haley, DeSantis, Huckabee, Noam. Out of those, who do you think would be if President Trump is asking a question saying, give me counsel, who do you think would be a good VP selection? What would you say?
Look, I mean, in fairness, I'm not going to be with Trump for much of the rest of this week, right? And so I'm not going to publicly air what my private counsel is to him, just as somebody who's asking me for actual advice. I'm not.
So maybe not Trump asking. Maybe I'm asking you. Like, I'm going to Vegas. I'm saying, hey, Vivek, who would be a good, person to bet on if I'm going to Vegas tomorrow?
I'll say a few good things about a couple of people on this list, right? Somebody I got to know pretty recently is Ben Carson. He is somebody who. So he came to Columbus, Ohio. It's my hometown. I met him for the first time there. We're doing podcasts and everything together.
Right.
But I will tell you that he is somebody who, my wife, she's a physician. She is a throat surgeon. When she was in undergrad, there was somebody who visited her when she was at Yale and gave an inspiring talk to a small group on why he became a surgeon. That man was Ben Carson.
Get out of here.
Right. So.
Oh, Lord.
I mean, my wife, she's excellent at what she does. She's one of, I can only imagine how many people that man's actually given inspiration to. And the funny thing is, he wasn't supposed to be a good student, right? He was a guy who never victimized himself based on his skin color, but he wasn't the best in his class, he told me, for a while, until he actually studied and got the heck ahead. And so I like that spirit. And I like the fact that there's a role for everybody. Would I have voted for Ben Carson over Donald Trump in a presidential primary when they ran against each other? No, that's a different story. But
He just took another shot at black people. Do you see that? Man, you want us to vote for this? Y'all want us to vote for this? They make it too easy, fam. It's too easy.
Do I believe that he is somebody whose heart is in the right place and who has learned a lot and has a level of wisdom and could actually provide a level of counsel to somebody in an executive position? Absolutely, I do. And has he given inspiration to a lot of people, including my wife, including to me? I think I would say that about him. Right now, who's going to be the best vice president? There's some other people on that list too. I haven't seen that list, by the way, so it's interesting that you brought it up. I think that's up to each chief executive to decide. You don't say, okay, who's the CEO going to hire in a role, and then somebody armchair quarterbacking that decision. So I've got good things to say about a number of people on this list, but I just picked Ben because I met him recently, and he's a truly good-hearted man who loves this country and I think is different. I also have a love of outsiders. I don't like people who grew up I don't like when people who grew up in politics remain in that festering swamp of politics. So I think it's good when you got somebody who's been a surgeon or somebody who's been a businessman coming in from the outside to shake things.
Motherfucker, he was a HUD secretary. What do you mean? Ben Carson sat there for 4 years asleep, but he sat there. What do you mean? Oh man, this guy is just. You sure he intelligent? Are y'all sure?
Things up.
What do you think about Tulsi?
Look, I like Tulsi because she's an independent thinker. Actually, she's somebody who. Tell you a funny story about Tulsi. We were at a dinner recently. I'm sure, I hope all these people don't mind me just sharing these stories, but whatever.
Motherfucker, you just said you're not going to talk about Trump. What you talk about him in private, but you're going to tell everybody else. Man, no honor among grifters. I get it.
Kind of fun. We were at a Mexican restaurant in Texas, and the funny thing about
Mexican
Tulsi,
restaurant in
Texas,
Texas,
okay, where we go to a Mexican restaurant. I told you I didn't kill the dog, you asked me, but I'm vegetarian, right? So we've done this.
Oh my God, Mexicans! Now he said y'all over there killing dogs. Jesus Christ! Oh man! By the way, I think Mexico was on that list too. But goddamn, Mexicans! Yes, it is. Mexicans. He just said y'all eat dogs. Y'all taking that? Okay.
Together, right? So somebody will come by and I was like, oh, is this thing vegetarian? Is this thing vegetarian? It's kind of holds up the whole table. It's a little bit inconvenient, but whatever.
Motherfucker, they tell you if it's vegetarian on the menu. What are you, dumb? This guy's got to be dumb. Y'all keep telling me he's smart. He's not smart.
I'm raised that way. It's part of my conviction, and so I do it anyway. This time we're going around the table and we're at a Mexican restaurant and there's all the usual questions. Oh, is your rice vegetarian? Is your beans vegetarian? I'm not the one asking the questions. It's Tulsi Gabbard. And so I got to just say, okay, good. She did all the hard work. I just said, I'm just going to have what she's having.
That's cool.
Which is funny, but I respected that because it still showed somebody who, say what you will about the conviction, at least has some conviction. I also love the fact that she has been outspoken against a lot of the foreign intervention that hasn't best served this country.
She's pro-war.
And I think that she is, in her heart, as best I can tell, somebody who's against unnecessary war.
Bullshit.
I think Donald Trump shares that in common. I think it's a beautiful thing that we could use more of in both parties, frankly. And so, I've got positive things to say about a lot of people on that list. In terms of who's as a vice president role, that's a decision that one man gets to make, and that's the person who's the president, which is hopefully.
Let me ask you a question though. So with the Ann culture and and the position that you said about the MAGAs and the people, the 7%, low percent, how much if Trump picks Vivek to be the vice president, how much does that help him for the 2028 election? Like, where does that crowd go? Oh, if he's bringing him as vice president, then we're 100% going all in instead of the Ann. That's it. Like, I'm just curious, how much you think that shifts if Trump actually puts him as vice president and Vivek becomes a vice president, and for 4 years they see these two just go after the deep state, go after everybody, flip everybody off, and like, this is America first. What's up? How much do those people say, you know what? I don't care. He could be from anywhere. We're going for him.
Tom, what do you think?
This is fascinating to me. I'm watching the analysts here.
No, I'd love to see him pick you for all the reasons that I think I articulated once before. And this is sincere. That is a qualified list there. Tulsi's been on the podcast. We've talked to her. We know some of these people, and so we've been able to do a little bit more than just a inspection. Well, watching them on TV, we've met them, and you know what? You are articulate. You are stick smart. I would love to see. My personal hope and dream was if you weren't VP, you'd be AG, because I think an attorney general that just would cut through it. Would be strong, but I think you would absolutely be a benefit to the country because you're no BS and you're really smart and you're driven on it. And that's what I think. And I think right now America's just kind of playing a parlor game of who's going to be where. And Trump's hopefully taking really great counsel from really great people. And I'm glad you'll be with him this week.
But what are you talking about? How much do you think helps?
Don't play diplomatic, Tom.
Yeah, I'm saying how much of that percentage that they said, like 7% or whatever, how much do you think that shifts? And they just say, listen, Trump has him as VP. Once Trump is done, everybody's going to Vivek. How much do you think that percentage goes of his chances to be the president?
Oh, I think it goes a lot. I think it moved as much as 50% because I think any rational person has to look at both men that are currently the presumptive candidates and say the VP this time is very important on an actuarial basis.
Yeah. Well, Vivek, just to cut through the clutter here, the VP pick will be the next leading candidate for the presidency in 2028. Just to cut through that. But on this topic,
I don't think so.
I'm just at the camp where I respect the people who have a lot of conviction about telling something in the future. I'm actually, one of the things I found is I'm very good at understanding what my convictions are in the present. I'm not particularly good at predicting one-off facts in the future, right? So I stick to the business that I'm best at, which is identifying my own convictions and following them. But I'm finding the conversation fascinating.
On this list, you've shared the stage with many people on this list. I know you're a vegetarian, Vivek, but there's only one person you had full-on beef with, and that is Nikki Haley.
Yeah.
You see her odds here. Thoughts on Nikki?
I like what you
Thoughts
did
on her as a VP? And was that beef actual? Because she at one point, like, it got personal. What was that experience?
Yeah, I think it was interesting. I don't think I've talked about this one before either. My first time meeting Nikki Haley was actually her reaching out to me proactively when very few people in this country know who I was to set up a call with me. I was just rolling out my book Woking, and I got to give her some credit. I mean, my understanding is apparently, I only know the excerpts that have come out from Kristi Noem's book, but apparently she reached out to Kristi Noem too. This is somebody who has been for a long time identifying who are going to be the potential players in the future. This is long before I thought of myself as even a player in politics. And so she set up a half-hour Zoom call, congratulated me on what a good job I was doing. I said, this is interesting. I wonder what's going on there. So I think that I always had I will tell you, it left me a little skeptical, actually, was the response that I had. Because I was so a lot of things that were said to flatter me. Someone proactively reached out to have a conversation. I'm a guy who not many people have heard of. I said, what was the objective there? Right? I was a little bit cynical. And I think that one of the things I learned is, this isn't specific to her, but I'm basically the opposite of what I've observed many professional politicians to be, right? Many professional politicians are all about trying to figure out what you want to hear and then telling you more of that. And I'm in the business of identifying what my own convictions are. As human beings, have some of those changed? Or everything you believe 10 years ago the same as you believe today? No. But what are my convictions? What are my most deeply held convictions today? And how do I stand for them? And so when I look at people who have grown up in that sport of professional politics and then embrace policies that sometimes align with their own self-interest but at the expense of the country, yeah, that really does get under my skin. And so, I think a lot of the divide that you saw between me and Nikki on the debate stage was grounded in deep-seated policy differences, deep-seated differences in what a politician and a public figure and a leader of a country is supposed to be. Is it somebody who has very carefully crafted and planned what they're supposed to say and then carefully rolls that out through careful rigors of poll testing and consultant vetting? Or is it somebody who's sharing their honest convictions? Is it somebody who believes the sole role of a public servant is to serve the public, or that it's okay to serve yourself along the way? Those are fundamental ideological divides, and I think that's what you saw spilling over there a little bit.
You also saw, I think, a little bit of the chess game of candidates during the primaries, right?
Yeah.
You make alliances and you go after people that are perceptibly starting to roll up in the polls. And she and Chris Christie did that. So there's also a little of that going on, right?
Yeah, we were watching it during the break, them talking to each other. Yeah, and by the way, what do you think DeSantis stands now? Now that everything is over with, and in the breaks I would watch, you always go to him to speak with them.
I think we were standing by each other most of the time. That was sort of
But it was always you trying to find a way to engage him.
Yeah.
He wouldn't really engage.
Yeah, but I think there's one or two instances. I try to be polite, right? I think he was saying something like mRNA vaccine. I just wanted to be respectful. I don't want to call him out on stage for it, but it's, I told him it's mRNA. Yeah, I mean, it's small stuff, right? It's friendly, friendly little tip here and there. I remember that was one of the instances where.
Are you guys good? Do you guys communicate or not at all?
I don't think we've communicated since the campaign. I saw him at NASCAR. I remember that. I went to Daytona 500. We were both in the pregame routine they had. Maybe I've seen him once or twice, but I think I've got no particular beef with Ron. I think that
no relationship either. Like you guys haven't broke bread, had dinner.
We don't. There's other people I'm on a text message relationship with.
Nothing. But not him.
We never exchange numbers. But I will say that backstage it was always relatively
cordial,
courteous.
respectful.
It was relatively courteous. They got kids the same age. I think Apoorv and Casey sat next to each other at some of the debates, and so we've got no beef there.
Okay, let's go to the next topic. Next topic, Michael Cohen, Rob. If you want to, I don't know if you got any of the clips or not. Michael Cohen testifies Trump's backed payments to suppress news that could hurt 2016 campaign. This is a Reuters story. And then he comes out and, he says what he says.
That's why we didn't have the red wave in 2022. We would not be where we are right now. And so, I know a lot of people in the business of just claiming the radical Biden agenda, and I complain about that plenty myself as well. But if we want to actually have the result in 2024 that we should have, we can't just be complaining about the other side. We got to stand for our own vision and what we actually stand for.
That's the only way y'all get attention. If you complain about the other side.
Together through the storm, everybody come take my hand. This world we'll take together through the storm. And I can't stop living this way. 'Cause I'm always ready. I won't let you out of my sight.
Because you guys are cowards and don't know how to talk to people. I just proved it with Kim Klacik. If she was tough, she would have owned me on her own thread. She didn't do that. And then she had nothing to say when I hit her with that truth that I saw you on Herschel Walker's bus. Your words. When you should have been campaigning the day after you lost and showing how Kwesi and Fume ain't that good, but you didn't do that. You ran around trying to be a celebrity and getting sued by Candace Owens.
That's why we didn't have the red wave in 2022. It wasn't because of abortion. It wasn't because of Trump. It was because the Republicans got lazy, and all we would do is complain about the radical Biden agenda. That's not enough. We got to actually stand by our own convictions and say, here are the risks we're willing to take to save this country. Because if we don't, we're not going to have a country left. This is what we stand for, right? And I think for cutting those agencies, for 3 million federal bureaucrats being fired, for actually moving our own military to our own southern border and completing the wall and ending birthright citizenship for the kids of illegals. And yes, it's logic. If you've had the largest mass influx of illegal migrants in American history, then it makes sense that you would have the largest mass deportation in American history. Those are the kinds of things we got to stand by, which, you know what's funny? Some people may say, are those extreme policies? To the contrary, you go to places like the south side of Chicago, you go to the inner cities across this country, talking about those border policies, talking about actually funding American causes versus foreign interests in places like Ukraine. Most people actually, even on the left in the inner cities, are actually sympathetic to Republicans who are willing to stake out those actual positions. And so that's the opportunity I see, and I hope we don't squander it.
I got a question I want to get to, because one of the things you're noticing with the Democratic Party, they seem to be very united, where Republicans, they seem to be competing against each other because there's an element of them, I can do it on my own, I don't need you, this versus Democrats like, no, we need against each other because the enemy's on the other side. Sometimes you see a little bit of a civil war on the left, but you see more of it on the Republican side than the Democratic side. Trump just recently said, this is the part of his speech, Donald Trump, I support Israel's right to win its war on terror, okay? So this is do you have the video, Rob? Is this like, go ahead and play this clip.
Joe's action is one of the worst betrayals of an American ally in the history of our country. I support Israel's right to win its war on terror. Is that okay? I don't know. I don't know if that's good or bad politically. I don't care. You got to do what's right. It was a terrible attack. October 7th was a terrible attack. I don't know. It's probably bad politically, but I don't care. You have to do the right thing. There would have been no war in Gaza with me in the White House. There would not have even been a chance. Iran was broke when I was president. Right. I said, if you buy oil, anybody buys oil from Iran, they can't do business with the United States. They were totally broke. Now they have $250 billion. They made it all in 3.5 years.
Do you agree with them?
So look, I think every nation has an absolute right to defend itself, and Israel does too. I think that that's a different point from whether or not the United States should be meddling in other people's business around the world. You got to take a look at what's going on in Armenia and Azerbaijan, right? Where's the United States tackling that crisis, right? It's selective myopia here. I don't know how deep you want to go to this, but here you've got the United States staying seemingly silent as you've got Azerbaijan displacing 120,000 Armenian Christians from the Nagorno-Karabakh region, which since the early 1990s has been agreed this is exactly where they're allowed to be. But it's not just that the United States is staying silent, because that would be hypocritical relative to the intervention in other parts of the world. It's that the United States is funding Azerbaijan to actually commit those atrocities. The United States has been funding this behavior. So I could go on for just a list of hypocrisies in other parts of the world that we ignore, but we go into certain areas where we say, hey, the U.S. has to intervene here, when in fact it's all... I think it's all been a product of incoherent foreign policy coming out of both political parties. And so I come back to first principles. Every nation has an absolute right to defend itself and its own borders. The United States of America is failing to do that right now. And the United States of America is patently failing to defend our own borders, and that's a big problem for us. But on the flip side, Israel had a breach of its own borders. And by the way, people aren't focused on this question, but I think it's a legitimate.
Okay, I think I'm done. If there's anything else later, I might do a live on the way home. Hey, that's a blessing. That's a blessing, Brother Torian. That is a blessing. That is a whole blessing. Get some. You get this. This is a special time. So we're going to give it to you, brother. This is a special time. All right. Your ears are bleeding. That's not good. You need to go see an ENT. That's not good. You and Miss Niecy, that's not good. Y'all need to go. I got an ENT. Oh, wait, that's in Georgia. Never mind. That ain't going to work. Find you an ENT. That's not good. Call up Cosmo. Maybe he do house calls. But there's the link. Somebody showed up.
Who cares?
Hello.
What's going on?
Same old as same old is.
Yeah, that dude is intolerable.
Is that the right word?
And he doesn't even realize it. I mean, he's a host of other things, but for now, I'm gonna go with intolerable.
I'm not gonna lie to you, brother. I almost fell asleep.
I literally just woke up because early morning gym session will exhaust you, but probably nowhere as near as it will exhaust anybody who has to listen to that all day.
And this apology tour is so bad.
And Coulter literally put a stain on him.
Oh my God. And he's not pushing back on nothing.
Like you said, content.
Beautiful content. Beautiful piece of content. By the way, you want more content? We got more content. Members only. The Candace Owens video is up. I violated her the first 10 seconds. Oh, man. But yeah, Tori, very good. Hey, 34,000 views in less than a day. Do your thing.
I still can't. I'm still blown away. It was over 1,500 people in there.
And there was nothing going on Monday.
In the middle of the day on a Monday.
Yeah, there was nothing going on Monday. Yesterday, there was nothing going on. Nothing earth-shattering anyway. So,
I'll take it.
Hey, you got to take it. Shit, I'll take this 150 that I was hitting on. I'll take that. But this y'all, she came out with an ad. She got an ad.
Classic.
Oh, yes.
The media wants you to believe Democrats like Joe Biden care about minorities and that only.
Why does she sound? Is she sick here? She
always sounds nasally.
Does she? I never noticed it.
Yeah, she always sounds like that. I don't even think that's her real voice.
Interesting.
Life has definitely been lifing. I'm going to keep you guys updated with.
She might have to hit that.
I had to take the earbuds out. I always take my earbuds out, or if I'm near something, I can mute fast before it gets to that part.
You like that meme of that white guy who took the headphones off?
The one that's yelling in the airport.
Was it the airport? I don't know. He like had that look on his face, like I can't hear no more of this, and he like starts to take off those like cheap headphones off.
Maybe if I don't know, I've probably seen it in passing.
Miss Nisi says she hates the snot drop. That's what we gonna call it. I'm finna rename it right now, the snot drop. Hold on, just to prove that I did it. I'm gonna let this play, and then I'm gonna change it.
Joe isn't one of the most racist,
the great Negro,
most corrupt.
Hunter Biden and his associates received millions of dollars from Russian and Kazakhstani oligarchs.
The most incompetent and creepy presidents in history.
She really sounds sick.
Biden allegedly wrote about taking, quote,
that's really how she sounds, or how she talks anyway. I don't know if that's her natural voice, but that's her like preparations. They just said that's her work voice. That's her code switch voice. It kind of reminds you of that movie Sorry to Bother You.
The media wants you to believe you're better off. They want to gaslight you into thinking you are doing better now than you were in 2019. Does anyone at
She
CNN
will sound real nasally right there. 2019.
I guess not, because people all across this country feel the pain of Democrat policies.
The everyday necessities that people take for granted, you can't afford them anymore. And when you're stuck with nothing, what do?
I am tired
I don't know.
of all of the lies. We are not better off under Joe Biden's policies. We need to send people to D.C. that care about our communities and can stand up to the media's lies.
She did it again.
I'm Klasick, and I'm ready.
She did it again. Hey, see, I changed it. I don't know if y'all can see that. Probably not, right? Yeah, see, I changed it. Snot drop. Thank you, Miss Neasy. But yeah. Torian, y'all like crabs down there, don't you?
Yeah.
And y'all like y'all codfish cakes, right?
Well, I don't think I've had codfish cakes. I had crab cakes.
Crab cakes. what they call the cotties. Y'all like y'all pit beef, right?
Like what?
Pit beef.
What's that?
The roast beef sandwiches.
Roast beef sandwiches aren't popular here.
So the Wire lied to me.
I forgot what state roast beef sandwiches are popular. I forgot what state. That sounds more like a further up north thing, because that sounds like something you would get straight out of a deli.
No, I mean like the pit beef sandwiches. I think the Wire lied to me. It must be a Baltimore thing. Never mind. I forgot Baltimore is its own little thing. I forgot. But even through that family and all that food talk, she still found a way to speak French.
Who is we? Who is we?
Dark Titan, hello. Yeah, for sure. Boy, let me tell you something. When I go look at them results, what time they said their polls closed? 9 o'clock?
Yeah.
Boy, don't let me go on there and I don't want to see her getting trounced. Don't do it. I want to see more fight than CJ Pearson had. Show me something. She ain't gonna show me nothing. All right. But anyway. Anything else, brother?
No, that was pretty much it.
All right. Well, again, much success to you on that video. Hopefully it makes 100,000 by the end of the week.
Oh, that would be lovely.
Wouldn't it? That'd be wonderful. And then maybe he'll be like, because he said he wants to talk to people that are on the left and the right who disagree with him. Maybe he show up on your freestyle on your live stream. Maybe he shows up. But just bring him.
That won't be good for him, especially now that it's funny because yes, we been knew that Ann was staunchly, anti-black, and we know how her stance is. But now Ann literally, let's hypothetically say that was to happen. She literally laid down the foundation. She literally did the hard part for us because we can just use all of that against them, like
Yes,
it's
sir.
nothing.
Yes, sir. All right. Well, I know you got to do 70 push-ups and make pancakes. But
Jerry said Massachusetts.
Massachusetts, what?
That's where you get those roast beef sandwiches.
Oh, I thought you sneezed. I was about to say Gossoon height. I'm sorry for making snot jokes. It's just I never heard her talk like that. I think maybe it's because the microphones when she's on these interviews, I didn't pick up on it. But all right, I appreciate that, brother. Thank you. You've given me something.
All right.
Okay.
Life has definitely been lifing. I'm going to keep you guys updated with.
Follow J. Hello.
I know you didn't put that as a drop for me, sir.
No, that's not for you. Why you acting like a victim?
No, you know what should be my drop, kid? If I ever come up,
What's that?
the R. Kelly.
Oh, you want that? Okay. Say less. He said he wants that. All right. Did I get rid of it? Shit, I did. I took it out. Oh, we can put it back real fast. Pause. We can put that back real quick. Pause. That's crazy. We could do that for a while, Jay. He wants that R. Kelly. Let me give it to him. Damn, I did get rid of it. Fuck. Okay, we'll get it from the next time. Come back up. We'll get it for you next time. I took it out of the rotation. Hey, but oh no, I still have it. Wait a minute, I just saw it. Oh, I still have it. All right, go back. Yeah, we have it.
Robert, stop it. Y'all quit playing. Quit playing.
There you go.
Yeah, because you always doing that to me.
You don't want to be saying Paulsworthy stuff.
No, I don't. You make your mind stay in the damn gutter too damn much, sir.
No, I'm a New Yorker. Where am I staying together? We got underground subways.
Exactly. That's our problem. You stay in the gutter too damn much.
This motherfucker. Are you breaking up concrete?
No, I'm at work, sir.
I know you're at work. But Jesus Christ. They don't know how to put stuff on the shelves correctly?
No, they don't.
Was it a bunch of Mexicans?
No.
Ain't black people.
No, he's in the frozen department. PC.
Oh.
Yeah.
Tell him to put the lean cuisine in there right. What the hell?
Hey, nowhere near that aisle. I'm in the back now, sir.
No.
But let me say something about old Vivek. What was I wanting to say? Oh yeah, Simp Salami. That's my new nickname for him, Simp Salami, because he let Ann Coulter simp him out, and he's still talking about it, bro. He ain't gonna let that go, is he? Well, he probably didn't even think about it. I don't. Was that man white that he interviewed? And he was black.
Patrick
He had a
Bet
little-
David.
Yeah.
He's not. Patrick Bet David is Iranian.
Oh shit. Okay, never mind. It's somebody.
He's an Iranian Christian.
I ain't know who that was. That's why.
Oh, you gotta go. You gotta go watch Black Light Revelation. He stayed going in on Valutainment.
I forgot. I gotta catch up on Rob. I gotta stop. I'm just out on Rob's stream.
I know Rod stream be doing like 3:30 in the morning. I'm like, I ain't finna get up.
Yeah,
I ain't finna get up.
Yeah, I'm not.
Lord have mercy. Where you by the boat?
No, I had to leave because she working the bailiff, sir. So I walked out.
Okay.
No, but yeah, let me get back to work, but let me get back to work, kid. I'll see you later.
Yes, sir. I don't know why Avenged Sevenfold was trending, but it looked like they're in Fortnite. All right, get that money. Get that Fortnite money. Do your thing. Oh, Vivek. He's never gonna get it, family. He's never gonna get it. But anyway, it's time to close down the show, and it's time to get up out of here. I gotta go pick up groceries for the family. So hopefully you learned something. If you did, I done my job. If not, I will try to be better next time. Like I said, if you're a member, you have early access to the Candace Owens video. For the rest of y'all that are not members, you will see it at 6 o'clock. But you can change that. And it only going to cost you 99 cents a month. If you'd like. I'm not telling you to do it. And Thursday, like I said, Thursday, we will be talking about the Dexter Taylor case again. But this time, we're going to have on Jeff Charles and Donnie the Misfit. We're going to do that about 3 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. We're going to have an interesting conversation. And it will be also on Twitter. And we're going to stream this to Rumble because we're going to piss them all off. So hopefully you guys enjoy the rest of your day. If you're in Maryland and you plan to vote, that's great. If you plan to vote the couch, we support you here. So everyone, take care, stay safe, and you know what to do when the agents of chaos come to mess up your existence.
Oh, look at this. Look at this. It's perfect. Time's up.
At the end of the day got to end.